Leaders on both sides of the aisle are still making a major push for people to get out and vote early. This after a Fulton County Superior Court judge makes crucial decisions ahead of election night.
Right, so Atlanta News First, Asia Wilson is live for us outside of the Buckhead Library. Asia, that is where 4 of our local leaders voted this morning, and they reacted to the new ruling that votes do not need to be hand counted.
They did indeed. They want people to take full advantage of early voting, adding that there's no excuse not to, since you have 19 days to cast in your ballots early ahead of Election Day. Now, Josh McCoon, the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, State Senator Brandon Beach, as well as the former U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler and Georgia Insurance and Fire Safety Commissioner John King hit the ballot box this morning. They also broke down the steps the state is taking to ensure votes are secure, accurate, and fair. This after late last night, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney temporarily halted plans to hand count ballots cast in the state, calling it, quote, too much too late. The Republican majority state election board approved the hand count requirement last month, and it was set to take effect October 22nd. Now, Chairman McCoon reacted to that this morning.
We're reviewing our options about how to proceed. I think what's important is that a lot of the rules are moving forward. You know, there's been a lot of attention about the hand counting rule, and there'll probably be continued discussion and perhaps litigation around that. We have a majority on the state elections board that is committed to transparency in our election, because our goal should be increased public confidence across the board.
And Democrats also reacted to Tuesday night's ruling, saying, from the beginning, this rule was an effort to delay election results to sow doubt in the outcome, and our democracy is stronger. Thanks to this decision to block it, we will continue fighting to ensure that voters can cast their ballot knowing it will count. All of this has been a big talker across the state. We do know that there is a meeting with the state election board today at 2. We're live in Buckhead. Asia Wilson, Atlanta News First.